And we are live. Welcome to another edition of Not Mainstream, April 6, 2018. And what a week it was. Let's get into some lightheartedness because I watched all 3 episodes of Roseanne, and it is just comedic gold. It was swell. So basically, if you haven't heard, Roseanne came back last week. And we said we was going to do a short segment, do a review about all the episodes, all 3 episodes. And yeah, let's get down to it. So last week was a 2-episode premiere. The first episode was all out Trump. It was just, Roseanne, basically Jackie and Roseanne are, fighting between families because Roseanne voted for Trump and Jackie supported Hillary but voted for Jill Stein. And it was just comedic gold. And they introduced new characters. Darlene has 2 kids now, a daughter and a son that likes to dress in girls' clothing, which they addressed that in the second episode. Something I'm not really too...
Yes, they did.
Yeah, something I'm not really too, keen on, but, it was still a good episode all in all. It had the feel-good moments. I mean, it was just classic Roseanne. Yeah. It's like, they never missed a beat. The jokes were on mark, especially this episode from this past week.
Definitely.
Especially the episode from this past week, which I thought was just absolutely hilarious. Go ahead, Henry.
What were you saying about this week's episode?
Oh, this episode, I thought it was just this week's episode. I thought it was just great, epic hilariousness with Roseanne and her little stair chair, which I thought was just absolutely hilarious.
That was great.
I'm coming up there. I'll be up there in 3 or 4 minutes. It was just great. You could tell Roseanne was having a ball in those episodes. I think it's something that she missed doing, and it was just great. And I gotta say, the girl that played Darlene's daughter, I mean, she looks exactly like Darlene. I mean, spot on. It's like her sister. You look at her and it's like, oh yeah, she can be Darlene's daughter. Props to the casting department for casting that girl.
Hang on a second. You're right back.
All right, I think Henry's off to do something. Henry's cutting in and out a little bit, having some technical difficulties. And I might having some technical difficulties too, because it's going to, I think we'll have like a storm coming through. It's going to snow again, have like 4 inches of snow, supposedly 4 inches of snow. But Roseanne, it was just a great episode. The first episode, again, it was Roseanne versus Jackie, classic Roseanne moments, and it was all feel good. I mean, within that 30-minute spot, they resolved the issue quite well.
I like what Roseanne did to her granddaughter in this 3rd episode when she was smarting off to her.
Yeah.
And she...
Yeah, it was great.
And then she got in the shower.
Yeah.
She got in the shower with her at the end of the episode.
Hilarious. Freaking hilarious. I mean, going back to the first episode real quick, you can tell Roseanne was just having a ball filming that episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. I liked all 3 episodes. I mean, they were really tremendous.
Yeah.
Of course, they have a lot of the same people working on the show as worked on it. The original show. So obviously, that's going to translate. It translates well to modern times. It really does.
Yeah. And I really enjoyed the 3rd episode, especially because it's comparing the older style of parenting versus the newer style of parenting, and then at the end it comes together. You can do this. You can parent in the older style as well as in the modern style as well.
It was funny. John Gum or Dan saying there's no books talking about how to parent, and Darlene's like, yes, there are. There are literally thousands of books. And Roseanne says, yeah, but there's no books. You can go get read for free. Yes, there are. It's called a library. Like the one down the street, and Dan says, that's a library?
Yeah, I mean, classic.
But basically, the premise...
Go ahead.
The premise of the third episode was that the granddaughter, Harris, was daughter.
You're cutting in and out real bad. I don't know if it's on my end or your end.
There's storms going through here too.
Oh yeah. Let me send you the link in Google Hangouts and see if you can come in through that way.
No, it's... Well, let's just give it a try and see what happens.
All right. Go ahead.
But what I was saying was, you know, the premise of the third episode was the oldest granddaughter, which was Harris, was selling stuff on Etsy. Roseanne called it the Betsy. And what happened was she eventually she kept hogging the washer and the dryer. The granddaughter did.
Mm-hmm.
And they find one item that has a tag on it, like a security tag, mm-hmm. like you would find at these higher end stores, because apparently someone stole. Someone had given her. Someone had given Harris. She got stolen clothes, and of course, you gotta be careful that you don't, manufacture stolen merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
So Darlene was confronting her about that, and it's like, I trusted you, you betrayed me. So Darlene actually asked for all of Harris's passwords for all of her, social media and her Etsy and all that. So.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked that part of the episode. It was, it was very dramatic, but it didn't take away from the comedy. The comedy was still there, no question about it.
Yeah, and I think there was
still plenty.
The most dramatic part of the whole thing was the confrontation between Harris and Roseanne when she called when Roseanne called Harris an entitled bitch. And then Harris went back at her and said that you're an old crazy hillbilly. And then that's when Roseanne attacked her and sprayed her with the dishwasher sprayer, which I thought was just, the whole line up to that moment was just great. And it was just, and plus it was really high rated in this week as well. I mean, almost 15.3 million people watched. A slight dip from last week, but once you factor in replays and DVR, I mean, that it's going to be at least about the exact same from last week.
They went back and they re-estimated the views from the first week.
Yeah,
and they figure at least 25 million. They said 25 million. Were watching the first week. So
yeah, that's what I heard too. Which still is
because they got such high ratings in the first week. I mean that was what that's what prompted ABC to say, hey, we need to renew this for another season, for season 11. So because it did gangbusters as far as ratings were concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it got renewed for 11th season, which I think is just great. And I think it's going to be like 10, 13 episodes for that season. And we was talking about this, and I was like, I hope they do a Halloween special in season 11, because the Halloween specials of the classic Roseanne is just funny as hell.
Yeah. you can see classic Roseanne episodes. There's several networks that carry the
Yeah.
There's several networks that carry the reruns. CMT carries them. TV Land carries it. So there's a few. There's a few that carry the classic reruns of the show. So yeah, but it's. I mean, the new season is just. It has not disappointed so far. I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they haven't skipped a beat over like what 20 years since it ended, and it's like it picked right up. Even though the season finale wasn't that great, the original season finale wasn't that great. It was like mixed reaction, all that, but they really did punt Gangbuster out for the very first 3 episodes.
Yeah. And one thing is, Roseanne has a bad knee, so she, that was the main reason Dan got the chair. He got the chair from somebody who had died. He said he was going there to steal the copper pipes.
Yeah, I love that chair, the stair chair so much. I love that so much. I hope that's like a recurring theme.
Yes.
In the season.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Have Roseanne go. You see Roseanne coming down. In the next episode, she's just coming down from the chair. But what's really interesting, we didn't hear more about the Becky situation of her being a surrogate mother, because I don't think they tied that up.
Well,
in the second episode,
I think that's probably that may be a recurring thing this season. We'll just have to wait and see. We know they haven't given up on it yet. Yeah,
because we did see Becky in this week's episode.
Yes,
she was just like a brief cameo. But go ahead.
Yeah, she had to come to the house to wash clothes because she said something about some joke about I had to come over here emergency. I got to come over here to wash clothes. They found out I live in the building or something like that.
Yeah, because there's more people in the building and they was washing clothes. She said there was other people's clothes in the washing machine. Yeah, but oh man, I have to rate.
I think
go ahead.
I think Roseanne. I gotta say, I think they handled the way that she disciplined the grandchild I think they handled it pretty well.
Yeah, I think so too. It's something. It's like it can happen in real life, minus the whole beating her up and put the dishwasher thing in the hair. That was just added for comedic effect. But leading up to that was handled great. And Darlene, she handled it well. She it was more of the modern spin of, hey, you're not going to do your Etsy, you're going to be grounded, and give me all the passwords for all your social media accounts like Facebook, Twitter, whatever. It's like the older style of parenting with a modern twist to it.
Yeah, and another thing is, this show has always been more realistic. It's always been more what families are really like. Roseanne was one of the first shows to really address what families are really like. I mean, at that point, when the show first premiered back in '88, you had the Cosby Show. The Cosby Show was a bit of an unrealistic look at a family. Yeah. You had the mother who was a lawyer, the father who was a doctor, and everything like that. So, and Married with Children was originally very realistic as well, even though it got more cartoonish as it went along. But Roseanne was the show that really showed that really had the realism of how families really are, the dysfunctionality and things of that nature. So that's what made it work. And it was a blue collar family. They're barely getting by. They're struggling and everything, and they're having to take different jobs and all that. So that's what made that was one of the appeals of the show when it originally premiered. And of course now that it's back, I mean, the family is still, the family still has the blue collar element going. You know, that has not changed from the original series. They never actually won the lottery. That was all a dream sequence. It was all part of Roseanne's book. You know, Dan did not die. He's still alive. So I think that's one of the appeals of the show, is the fact that it's much more realistic than a lot of sitcoms based around families.
Yeah, I completely agree. You know, it's relatable to everyone. The not the mainstream folks, but the people that works from 9 to 5, have paycheck to paycheck. It's relatable to those people, which is why Hollywood sucks now. I mean, it's not relatable to any people. The only thing they can think of is be anti-Trump, anti-Trump, anti-Trump. Being anti-Trump is relatable to no one. And you got it's not only Hollywood, but it's TV and all that nonsense. And then you have Roseanne step in to bring her show back, which phenomenal show, epic show. Like I said, haven't missed a beat. And it's relatable to folks.
I love Roseanne.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about Roseanne. We're talking about that. We've really enjoyed. Because I started watching it last week. And I've really enjoyed it. Shane did too. Shane finally got on board with it. Yeah, we were comparing notes about the first 3 episodes.
Have you watched the first 3 episodes, Lyle?
I saw the episode this week. And I liked it. I always watched Roseanne. I always loved Roseanne. The last few years of the old episodes weren't as good to me. And she did kind of get a little liberal for a while. And she has basically said now that that's what she felt like she needed to do in Hollywood, and and to hell with it.
Yeah.
She could do and say what she wanted to do. And I'm just as tickled that she's still doing well. And, because Roseanne came from nothing. And she knows what it's like not to be able to pay the bills. She raised 4 daughters with no money. Her daughters were getting on toward grown by the time she got into stand-up and got her show. She knows what blue collar is.
Yeah.
And I also heard her say in an interview one time years ago, she said, if you've always been rich your whole life, you never, ever have a thought about being poor. But if you've been poor and then you get money, you always worry about being poor again. Because you've been there, and like Mae West said, I've been poor, I've been rich, and rich is better. But yes, I'm so thrilled that I came in time for the end of the Roseanne conversation. I am so tickled about that.
And I gotta say, Roseanne, for her age, she looks great. I mean, she still looks great. She does.
Well, she lost a lot of weight, and so did John Goodman. They both lost
John Goodman too.
Weight.
Yeah, he lost major weight.
Yeah. He looks a lot older, but at the same time, he really looks good. And I don't know how they got Sarah Gilbert to come back, liberal as she is. But I happened to catch an interview No, actually, I saw it on Facebook. It was Jimmy Kimmel. It was, I don't know, somebody I never watched. But Roseanne and John were on there, and he was asking about the politics in the
Mm-hmm.
uh, new series, and she said, "Well, some voted for Trump, and some didn't, and you know." But I love the fact that she's making this snowflake crap, this entitlement, you know, with the
Yeah,
granddaughter.
that's
That
great. I
is
mean, yeah,
so
Mhm.
funny. And so yeah, I'm tickled about it. I really am.
yeah, yeah. I think it's great. And Sarah Gilbert, was in an interview I think last week, and they said, there's going to be one episode the conservatives like, and the liberals hate, and the rest of the episodes the conservatives are going to hate. And I I disagree with her. I haven't seen an episode I didn't like, except for the second episode, which they got to punt that in there. They got to be a little bit liberal, but it was just one episode. It's not going to make or break anybody. But I gotta give it a starting point of a 10 out of 10. I mean, it's just great. Check it out if you haven't. Watch the episodes. I cannot wait for next week's episode. And oh man, it's just
Now
gonna be
that I've
hilarious.
figured out when it's on and what channel it's on,
It's
I think
ABC.
that's why I'm. Yeah, at what,
I think 8
8?
o'clock on Tuesdays.
Yeah, and because I don't normally don't watch CBS, NBC, or ABC
Yeah,
unless something really that I really want to see. I don't watch them. I watch old comedies and
yeah. I think I
westerns.
think I think that's the only time ABC is going to have high ratings is when Roseanne is on. And after Roseanne goes off, the ratings is going to drop.
Yeah, the new shows coming on after Roseanne didn't interest me.
I haven't
That
seen that.
the middle.
Yeah,
I've
I
watched
haven't
it.
watched that.
I watched it some because there was nothing else on, or it came on in between two things or something, and
Mm.
it's okay. And I like Patricia, the one
Okay.
that was no, the one that was Ray's wife on Everybody Loves Raymond. Isn't she the wife on there? I like her.
Hmm.
It just wasn't. It was a little too. I don't know. It just didn't strike me. It's watchable, you know, but and
Yeah.
CW, my God, I don't watch anything on CW.
Yeah, I don't watch anything. The only thing that's on CW is my news at 10, local news at 10, and that's the only thing.
And maybe Ninja Warrior. I like to watch that.
Oh yeah, that's
You
fun.
know, yeah, where they go through the obstacle course.
Hmm.
I'll watch that, but yeah, uh, uh, um, adult cartoons are not for me, and especially when they're crude, rude, and run down God. That's just not funny. It ain't gonna be funny, and I don't care to watch it.
Hmm.
Next topic.
Let's see here. Henry, you still there, or you froze up?
Come in, Henry.
I think Henry froze on us.
He'll figure it out in just a minute and fix it.
Henry, if you can hear me, you're froze up on us. He's having some real bad storms where he's at, so maybe
I,
that's why. Or it could be the
I,
Russians. I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah,
could be.
Roseanne, fantastic. Definitely worth the watch.
Yes.
Let's see here. So let's continue on. Well, let's go into some more Roseanne news because she's been the subject of some controversy lately. last week and earlier this week, she was posting on her Twitter account about pedophiles being rounded up, sex trafficking rings being rounded up, and child trafficking, and all this stuff she's been posting. And the mainstream media is attacking her, saying, "Oh, it's just a conspiracy theory and all that nonsense." Well, it's not. And the mainstream media has been ABC. Some of the mainstream media has been reporting that a lot of these pedophile, sex trafficking, and child trafficking rings have been piling up, been caught and arrested and prosecuted, which is great, fantastic. But she's been subject to that, and everybody's hit harder on her and everything. And she's a good girl, and she can take it. She can hit back. And it's just they want her to fail so bad. They're pissed because her show is successful. They're pissed because people's watching. Go ahead, Lyle.
They always wanted her to fail.
Yeah.
Remember the 9, 10, 12 years, however long her show was on the air, it won awards every year. Everybody, not everybody maybe, but so many people on the show won awards. Roseanne, they never gave Roseanne one award. Never. And they always wanted her to fail. That's why she said, remember the national anthem fiasco? She said she knew to start with that she couldn't sing the song beautifully. She could sing the best she could, but she said she knew everybody was against her. Everybody was waiting for her to mess up so they could jump her. And so even though she didn't really want to, she just sang it bad as she could on purpose to try and maybe get them before they got her, or that kind of a thing,
Yeah.
And she's a strong damn person. But I'm glad she's back and on the right side.
Yeah.
So to speak. But I saw something, Sandra Bullock, and you can never tell if Sandra Bullock actually said it or not, but it was a picture of Sandra Bullock, and it was something about the conservatives, running down the conservatives. Sandra Bullock and Roseanne are good friends still. And so I don't know how they're dealing with it or getting along. But anyway, I'm proud of Roseanne for coming back with a vengeance and a strong message. Yep.
Henry, you got any final comments on Roseanne?
I'm just it's been a great season so far. I hope it continues.
Yeah, me too.
And I've really enjoyed it. There's 6 more episodes to go this season because it's 9 episode season.
Yeah, that's an odd number. They should have done 10.
They were originally, it was supposed to be 8. It was supposed to be 8, but I guess they were able to add another one. I guess they probably filmed another one and then added it on. So apparently it's supposed to be 9 episodes this season.
Yeah, but I cannot wait. It's going to be great.
It was such a good show. Always, like I said, until the last couple of years, it wasn't as interesting or funny or got a little flakier or whatever. But it was a good show for a long time. And it was so popular because it was aimed at regular, hardworking people. dealing with youngins, dealing with paying bills, you know, dealing with no money, cars broke down, duct tape on the seat of your car,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it hit so many Americans where they lived.
Mm-hmm.
And if she can do that again, I think it would be great because I'd love to see. I'd love it to stay on. You know,
Yeah. Well, it has been
a few.
renewed for another season.
Well, good.
Mm-hmm.
But and I'm sorry, Henry. Were you gonna say something?
No. I was just kind of nodding my head.
And well, you know,
Yeah, I was just saying. Mm-hmm.
Tim Allen also, and the show he has now, and I can't remember the name of it offhand.
Last Man
But I
Last
Standing.
watched
Man Standing.
Last Man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Last Man Standing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. If when I happen to catch it, I will watch it. And you know, they had fired him and canceled the show
Mm-hmm.
because he was going to be conservative, and if it won't, he won't going to do it. And they had a blowout about it. But the ratings were so well, and the people wanted it back, so they started making it again.
Yeah, I think Fox is
Yeah,
picking it
it
up.
had high. It had some high
And I love
ratings. Yeah,
him. I love
I
him,
think it was
and I love. Go ahead.
I think it was the highest rated show on ABC. I believe it was. I believe Last Man Standing was the highest rated
Yeah,
show
Yeah.
and
on
they were
ABC.
going, but they were going to cancel it anyway, and people revolted.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I hope and I pray that more of this happens
Yeah.
in America because we need to bring God back and morals, values, and all of that. And folks like Roseanne now, Tim Allen,
Mm-hmm.
Dean Cain, Kevin Sorbo. There's so many that are starting to stand up and say, well, we're going to make this Christian movie whether you like it or not. And the Christian movie does great.
Mm-hmm.
You saw what happened to Oprah's weirdo
Yeah, failed completely.
failed completely.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing against Oprah, but Oprah's changed during the years. She used to be a God fearing black woman from the South, and now I don't know what she thinks she is or who she thinks she
Mm-hmm.
is. But you don't make fun of Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that'll lose you
Mm-hmm.
viewers quick.
Yeah.
Well, going back to Tim Allen for a second, I mean, Home Improvement was very much a you can consider that a conservative type show because I mean he was very much a rugged individualist. I mean he was
Mm-hmm.
you know a lot of that of course he, you know that show was based on his comedy act. So
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
They need to bring back Home
yeah.
Improvement. I like Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Home Improvement was great.
Yeah. Of course, the actor that played Wilson passed away, Earl Hindman.
Yeah, he did. Or maybe they can work that into the show or something.
Wilson died
Yeah, he did.
a while
Maybe
back.
they can probably work that into the show or something.
Mm-hmm.
He was a pastor.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
yes,
Yes,
he was
in real life
pastor.
he was. Earl Hindman
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, Earl Hyman. And yeah, he was a pastor and was married, God, 100 years to the same woman, and just they talk like a wonderful, wonderful person. And yeah, the thing that you never got to see Wilson's whole face was just phenomenal.
Yeah,
And
that was great when the way they did that.
and
Yeah.
I agree too. There weren't that many episodes, but there were some Christmas or maybe another holiday on Home Improvement when they went to church.
Mm-hmm.
And I like a show where every once in a while they have an episode where they go to church.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just lets you know. Well, even Cosby, they went to church on Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's what yes, the Home Improvement was kind of a conservative even back then. And I love the
Oh yeah,
one. Remember how he always had the battle or whatever with Bob Vila.
Oh yeah,
the lawnmower race. Yeah.
Yeah, lawnmower race and all. I saw a little thing one time, um, and I don't remember if it was on TV or on the computer or what, but it was at Tim Allen's real home, and they were like pouring concrete for a garage or a big shop or something. And Bob Vila was there. And, you know, they talked to Tim, they talked to Bob Vila, blah, blah. And Bob Vila took a stick and wrote his name in the wet concrete. And Tim Allen was all real nice. And, oh, thanks, Bob, so. And Bob Vila walked off. Tim took the thing and rubbed his name.
It's great.
Yeah, so
Tim the Tool
that
Man.
was enough.
Tim
the Tool Man
Taylor. That was
And
the
I
character
love
on
the
Home
I love the interaction between him and Al. Oh, the
Him and Al.
I don't.
Yeah. I don't think so, Tim.
I don't think so, Tim.
I don't think so, Tim.
Oh yeah, Richard Carr.
Mhm.
Very conservative as well.
Yeah,
Richard Carr
Carr.
is actually very conservative.
Yeah.
He played Al Borland. Al Borland. Al Borland. He always wore the flannel, the plaid flannel.
Yeah. And remember Al's brother Cal?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how did they find somebody who looks so much like Richard Karn and Mother? I have to take Mother to the buffet and
Oh yeah. Let's talk about his mother.
Tim always made jokes about how fat Al's mama was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Tim always did that. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Tim the Tool Man. Yeah, I love Tim the Tool Man.
Yeah, I do too. Tim the Tool Man Taylor.
Tool Time.
Oh,
and
man.
that
All right,
was
let's
the
get
show.
down. Oh, go ahead.
That was the name of Tim's show. Tool Time.
Tool Time. Yeah.
That was the name of the show. Always sponsored by Binford Tools.
Yeah,
Oh, man, all right, let's see. So let's get down to some actual news now.
Yeah.
So earlier this week, let's combine the two because it corresponds with each other. There was big controversy that came up with the whole caravan of illegals. Basically, it was a big train full of illegals coming to the U.S. and they expect to cross the border and start to come here for free and get free education, get free everything.
Yeah.
President Trump put a stop to that, and he said he's going to use the military, the National Guard, to secure the border with. And by all means, go right ahead, do that. I am all for that.
Oh yeah.
I think he should have done that sooner. To be honest with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, but he was held back by the Democrats. That's what happened. Democrats weren't going to go for it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, he's doing it. You know, he is issuing an executive order, a memo, and he's within his legal right to do it.
Yeah, and plus, not only that, Obama did it, Bush did it, Clinton did it, Reagan did it, and now they're saying, "Oh, Trump can't do that." He can't do that. It's like almost every single
he
president
can.
in the past has used the military and has had the military to go down to the border. So it's nothing new.
So yes, right. No, it isn't. It's nothing new at all. I mean,
Go ahead, Henry.
He can do it. I was going to say he can do it, and he is doing it. You know, you leftists can suck it because he is doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and then they're trying to fight him on it, which, you know, it's not going to go anywhere, I don't think, personally. And then not only that, you have, you know, some good news. We never have any good news from California.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, it is a great idea. It's a fantastic idea.
And that freaking governor in Oregon says, "Oh, I'm not going to send these National Guard troops." Well, you don't have to. We'll find somebody.
I mean, what is she going to send them to the border of Canada?
Who knows? What a bunch of idiots.
But and also, I think we talked about this last week, but we can touch on it some more. That California, Orange County, and a lot of cities in Orange County is revolting against the whole sanctuary state, and they filed. They are attached to the lawsuit with the Trump administration for suing California and becoming a sanctuary state because they voted locally not to follow the sanctuary state rules to allow ICE to cooperate with law enforcement. Now, this is some great news coming for California because, you know what, to be honest with you, I thought California was hopeless at this point. But apparently it's not. And Orange County seems to have a little conservative side. And, you know, they might want to watch out in the midterms because California might flip from blue to red. And I hope that might happen. My gut feeling is telling me no because of the whole illegals voting. But, you know, maybe there might be enough people there to flip California. But what's you guys' thoughts?
I think there are some conservative areas in California, but if you get away from like Berkeley and San Francisco and Los Angeles, there are some fairly conservative places in California. But you got to really look for them.
I think there's a lot more. I think California is the majority is liberal, very liberal to extremely liberal. But I think there are a lot of conservatives who are afraid to speak out. Yeah. Because they feel they're outnumbered. Just like we were talking about Tim Allen, Roseanne, like I say, Dean Cain, Clint Eastwood, Kevin Sorbo, even Mark Burnett, and what's his wife's name? The Irish one.
Roma, is it Roma Downey?
Roma Downey, yeah. And
I think so. Yeah.
They are Scott Baio. You know, there are more. There are more and more urge to stand up.
John Voight. You know, Angela.
John Voight.
John Voight.
John Voight. Yeah.
Yeah. John Voight's another one. Well, and there's a lot.
I think
there's some that have become more vocal, but there's still more that feel the way we do, but haven't been vocal yet. But, you know, when they go in the voting booth, they're going to vote conservative, but they have their livelihood and their children, and they've got a $3 million home, and they want to keep making TV shows and working and making millions of dollars a year, and it just is better to keep their mouth shut than be cut off.
That's another one.
Yeah.
Don't forget about Clint. Don't forget about Clint.
A minute ago. Yeah. Clint Eastwood.
Yeah. And I suspect, even though he kind of keeps his politics he kind of keeps him to himself with his politics. Denzel Washington is a closet conservative, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Am I frozen? Oh, yeah.
No, I heard you. Yeah. But say the last sentence again.
Denzel Washington seems to be a closet conservative, even though he keeps it kind of quiet.
Yeah, I think the celebrities who don't air their political views are either conservative libertarian, or not even liberal at all.
Penn Jillette is libertarian. Penn Jillette, yeah, he's libertarian. I suspect he's a bit conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Charles Barkley. He may not be totally conservative, but he is. I've seen a few things that he said about the Democrats have just been holding the black people down for all these years, and they need to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
There are leftist celebrities that will even speak out against the left.
Yeah, I like those celebrities too, because you don't see that a lot. Bill Maher, I'm not a big fan of his, but sometimes he can make some sort of sense, and he speaks out against the left and the extremist left, the far left people, which is great. They need more people speaking out against the left. But here's the thing: if someone from the left is speaking out against the left, they're just going to call them racist, call them sexist, call them every single name in the book, because they're the freaking cult. They're the cult. It's like, you're either with us or you're against us. And if someone speaks out, they're going to turn their backs against them.
Yeah. You can't be part way one. You can't be part this way and part that way. You have to do everything like they want it done, or you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not right either.
Yeah.
I mean, give me, okay. I believe that you should be able to have a legal abortion in a safe, healthy, professional environment. But I also think that you don't need to use abortion for birth control. Every time you happen to get pregnant, go have an abortion. That's not right. Not when there's free birth control all over America. I do believe that if you were horribly raped, or if your life's in danger, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
But I do not support Planned Parenthood because, and they can say, well, if you get rid of Planned Parenthood, then people will go have illegal abortions in back rooms and like they did in the old days. But you can go to your family doctor, talk to him, and have an abortion that is clean, professional. And have you read, I've read, God, tons of things about how often the ambulance backs up to the back door of abortion clinics where women are about to bleed to death and die.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I don't think Planned Parenthood is that great. And I don't think, and they say, oh, well, we do mammograms and we do women's health and whatever. No, you can go to the regular old health department and get that. And like I say, you know, so I'm not totally against abortion, but once in a while, I can understand it. But they're using it for birth control, and you know what Margaret Sanger said, what, in the 50s or 60s, you know, Margaret Sanger, how wonderful. She said that black people were like weeds and you needed to keep them under control.
Yeah, I mean, Margaret Sanger funded Planned Parenthood because of black genocide.
It's just, I don't know. I do, like I say, I do agree that if the conditions are XXX, you should be able to get an abortion, a healthy professional abortion. But don't be dragging people off the street and begging them, or not begging, and telling them all of the wrong things to talk them into it, and then they're selling the damn fetus parts for science or for, you know, whatever. I just, the whole thing makes me sick. I wish nobody ever had to abort a baby again in the future of the world. But occasionally there is a need for it. And let me say something else. If you can't decide in 3 months whether you want to keep this baby or not, you need to keep it. People get married in 2 weeks and 6 weeks and blah, blah, blah. You've got 3 months, 90 days. And 6 of those weeks, you know you're pregnant. Don't wait until they're about to be born. That just really, this late term abortion shit, that's murder. That is murder. Okay, I'm done. Y'all go ahead.
Somebody.
Yeah, some feedback I think is coming on. I'm not sure which end. Okay, so let's see here. So
everything's quiet here.
Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine right now. So going back to the border security and the illegals. So Trump's going to do like a executive order or a memo to get the National Guard involved into the border security, which again, great. He should have done it sooner, but you know, better late than never. And it seems like Mexico is not willing to cooperate. I think here's what needs to happen. Trump needs to basically say to Mexico, I'm going to give you 30 days to solve the border problem and to help us fund the wall. If you don't help us in those 30 days, I'm going to terminate NAFTA. He needs to terminate NAFTA. NAFTA is his leverage. Mexico cannot survive without NAFTA. Once NAFTA is abolished, it'll devastate Mexico because basically Mexico is surviving off of NAFTA.
Mexico wants to what? NAFTA?
Trump should use NAFTA as leverage against Mexico. Say, I'm going to give you 30 days to control the border, control the people that's coming across the border, and to fund the wall. And if they don't do it within 30 days, Trump needs to terminate NAFTA. which he needs to terminate NAFTA anyhow. And
That's what
I think he will. I think he'll terminate NAFTA. I
yeah,
think Mexico won't come to the table and deal on NAFTA.
NAFTA sounded great to Clinton, but it has not turned out great. And I think we do need to get rid of NAFTA. If Trump could work it so he could maybe use NAFTA to get some compliance with Mexico and then terminate NAFTA, but I don't know if that's possible or not. But Mexico, I saw a picture today of the wall or the fence between Mexico and Guatemala. Is that what it is? It's Guatemala that's.
Yeah, I think so.
And their laws and so strict, and then they gonna bitch.
Yeah.
Because they can't come here. It's appalling to me, the audacity that people have in the world, especially these days. Audacity. Damn. We need to build our wall. And can California actually stop Trump? He's the president.
So. I don't think so. He's in with every legal right to, secure the border.
Well, I say let's end the wall at California, then build it all the way around the top of California and let California succeed.
Yeah. Give California back to Mexico.
Exactly. And it's already, California now is considered the most impoverished state in America.
Yeah. It's like on the list of worst states to live in is California. And then you see those commercials about California Schwarzenegger, promoting California, making it look good. It's not that great. It is not that great of a state.
I'll tell you what, I don't mind a Mexican person if they're working hard, paying their taxes, raising their family. I don't care if they come. Just do it legally.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go somewhere where 75% of the population is liberals and illegals.
Yeah. Well, that's like, you try to cross the border and get into Mexico, they're going to apprehend you right then and there. They're not going to treat you, catch and release and, slap you on the wrist and say, don't do that again. They will put you in prison for that. And let me bring this up to you, because I was thinking about this. You think we should have a shoot to kill policy on the border? If anyone tries to cross the border, they shoot to kill him.
That's a little extreme. It would depend.
That might get you into all kinds of legal trouble. You might have ACLU be trying to protect the rights of the illegals and all this stuff. They got shot for no reason. They were unarmed. See?
Yeah. It doesn't sound ethical, but there is some countries that do that though. I'm sure there's some countries that do a shoot to kill policy on the border.
Like North Korea?
Yeah, probably.
I wouldn't want to go that far.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if they had a gun and were shooting at the border patrol or something, okay,
Mm-hmm.
shoot back. But if we got a good fence or wall,
Mm-hmm.
then that would cut down on a lot of it. But no, I don't think they should shoot to
Yeah.
kill. If you could just nab them and send
Mm-hmm.
them back. I mean,
Well, obviously,
I don't want anybody to get
what
killed unless they really, 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 really
yeah,
deserve, or, or trying to kill me or
yeah.
something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, one thing that the National Guard is doing, they're keeping an eye on, making sure that the builders of the wall are not harassed. Obviously, want
Hmm.
to make sure that you know that's one thing
Mm-hmm.
they are doing. They're keeping an eye on things.
Yeah. Which is
So,
great. Something that we
And
definitely
there's,
need.
oh
from what
yeah, we do.
yeah, yeah, we do. And I don't blame people. Obviously, Mexico, except for the several rich cities on the uh, coast or whatever, it's the big damn desert. And I understand there might not be work enough to support your family and this and that and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't mind anybody wanting to better themselves and their
Yeah.
family. And America is a great place to do that, but you have to do it legally. And I saw a uh, video in the last day or two, and it was like a town council meeting, and I don't remember what state it was, but the man standing up and talking said that like 38 years ago or whatever, he and his mom came from Mexico to the United States,
Mm-hmm.
and they worked and they went through the process. And he said, I have a very treasured certificate hanging on my
Mm-hmm.
wall that I am a legal citizen of the United States. He said, we went through the channels, we did what we had to do. He said, and I'm so proud to be an American now. He said, and this mess has got to stop. He said, and I know of a lot of Mexican. In fact, I used to have a site, and I lost track of it, and it was like Mexican people against illegal immigration because
Mm-hmm.
they worked
Yeah.
their butts off. They came, they went through the proper channels, they worked their butts
Mm-hmm.
off, they did whatever they needed to do to become citizens. And
Yeah.
now they're tax paying American citizens, and the government's letting them walk in, everybody else walk in free.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there are a lot of legal now American Mexicans who ain't
Mm-hmm.
happy about it,
Yeah.
you know?
This is good transitioning too. Um, so they said that the census in 2020 is going to ask, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" And there's backlash against that. And frankly, there is going to be backlash because if they ask if you're a U.S. citizen, that's going to pull the electoral college away from the coastal elites and back into heartland of America, and that's what they don't want to do. So if let's just say if the census asked the question in California, California is going to lose some of the electoral college numbers that they was supposed that the that Hillary allegedly won, and it's going to knock them down a few numbers, and those numbers is going to transition into somewhere into Middle America. And I'm
They'll
all for. I'm all
say they
for.
are.
What was that?
I said they will lie on it and they'll mark I'm an American citizen.
I don't know. Yeah, they might. They might do that. I don't know. I don't know if they can get like if there's photo
Do you think that the
ID or something they have to
Democrats
do,
go
but
check?
not really. But I'm all for
Agree.
asking if
For it.
you're a citizen on the census.
Yeah, my couple of my sisters, well, I only have two, so my two sisters both worked for the Census Bureau
Mm-hmm.
in past years, and it's been a good while back now, but they had to go to different towns in the state, find addresses, talk to the people, this, that, and the other. And actually, I didn't like them doing it because you have to go and knock on somebody's door that you don't know, never met, never heard of.
Oh.
And who knows who's going to snatch you in and kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever, but they work for the Census Bureau. I think it paid decent money,
Mm-hmm.
but people are going to check I'm a citizen, and unless there is a $1 billion backing people to check on the paperwork,
Mm-hmm.
they'll get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
crap. My computer's asking me to do updates, and I really got to do them.
I'll send you the link on
while,
Google.
So I don't know if I'll be back or not.
I'll send you the link on Google Hangout. And you can join through there.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, Henry's been not got a good signal or something.
All right, I just sent you the link on Google Hangout.
Yeah. All right.
Shane, while he's doing that,
right.
I sent you the thing from Melissa George. Would you
I got it.
Would you please repost it?
Yeah, I'll even put it in the description in the
all your different
below. Yeah.
Sites or whatever. She is so sweet and so wonderful, and she's scared to death, and I think they make a decent living, but that's about it. They're not rich by any means, and she said the other day she went and had her port put in for chemo and came home. I don't remember exactly if it was that same day, but anyway, came home and had 2 get well cards and 3 bills or something already. And she's just started chemo. So please, or every once in a while, go to my page and share it, because I share it on my page about every week or so. If anybody, $10, anything, everything helps.
Yeah, exactly. Every little bit helps. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I'll post it in the description below, and I'll share it on the Facebook group and pages as well.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and thoughts and prayers go out to her as well, to her and her family and friends. Let's see here.
Girl.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's see here. So let's get into some Facebook news because this is some scary, scary stuff. So in case you've been not following what's going on in Facebook land, so Facebook was selling people's data to third-party sites, and not only that, if you go on Facebook and you can download a history of your Facebook history, and in that history, that's phone calls to people that you've made and how and who you made it to and how long the call was. Also, they download text messages that you send and receive to people. Um, and then it came out that Facebook Messenger was keeping people's pictures privately. So if you was sending, photos to your boyfriend and girlfriend that you thought only was going to boyfriend and girlfriend, I better think again because Facebook has those pictures in some kind of data world cloud somewhere out there. So this is some very scary stuff that Facebook is getting into. And it's like, nothing's private anymore. I mean, you can do everything that you can to be sure, you can go off the grid and whatnot. You're still going to be in it's still not going to be private. Your life isn't private anymore.
I agree. And that's why I don't ever put anything on Facebook.
Yeah.
That I will have a problem with anybody seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have cut down on my political posts
Mm-hmm.
in the past few years because you never know when the damn FBI might show up to arrest you because you agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Or you hit like when someone said, I hate Obama, and you hit like, you never know.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll come in and do an investigation on you, thinking you're gonna kill them or something, and it's a scary, scary situation that we live in. And Henry, you just know. Listen, I was talking about how Facebook is accessing people's data and keeping it for themselves, and they're sharing that data to third-party sites as well.
That Cambridge Analytica thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and not only that, photos that you've sent to people on Messenger, Facebook has been keeping that as well. And there was a report from the Daily Mail earlier today saying that Facebook, and you probably saw it on my Facebook profile, I shared it, and they said that Facebook abandoned this thing that they was going to do to access people's medical records. They want not only they got your freaking dick pics, they want your medical records too, which is freaking that's next level scary right there. I mean that is
Right.
just terrifying.
So they can sell ads to the drug companies, or
Let me pull up the article because I don't know why they want the medical records.
it could be
Yeah.
smoking,
Uh,
drinking, or any number of reasons.
mm-hmm.
It's I'll tell you what it is: globalization,
Mm-hmm.
government.
Yeah.
They want to know everything because they are working as hard as they can to take over and tell the entire world how to live,
Mm-hmm.
what to drive, where to live, what you can eat,
Yeah.
how to raise your children, what to wear.
Mm-hmm.
and they want globalization. What I don't understand is, do these people who are really rich, okay, there's a certain number of people who are billionaires and will probably be fine and leave plenty of young money for their children and grandchildren and great grandchildren.
Mhm.
But there are a lot of millionaires who are for all this liberal crap. And don't they realize that after a while, the regular public is not going to have the money to support them anymore?
I
I mean,
have no
if you
idea.
do you get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If you don't have the money to go to the movies, if you don't have money to buy a car or a house, and you just live in their communist little place,
Mhm.
you're not getting any money coming in because they're not making any.
Yeah.
You can pay them. You can pay them $10 an hour and take 5 back,
Mhm.
but it's gonna run out.
Yeah.
Like Margaret Thatcher said, and she was a very smart woman. And she said the problem with socialism, communism, is after a while you run out of other people's money.
Yeah, and she's right. Going back to the medical data, I got the article brought up, and I'll read it to you guys. Facebook has been in talks as a high-profile U.S. hospitals in an attempt to obtain patient data about illnesses and prescriptions. The project was being led by a Stanford cardiologist called Freddie Abnusi, who claims to lead the top secret projects on his LinkedIn. The project aimed to build profiles of people that combine their medical condition, social status, information on Facebook. According to the company, the goal was to match this medical data and Facebook user data in order to help work out which patients might need special care.
Uh-huh.
However, this creepy proposal has been put on pause after the Cambridge Analytica scandal raised concerns about how much data the company takes from users. Although the obscured identifiable information, such as the patient's name, the company could have used a technique called hashing to match individuals in both sets, according to a report by CNBC. This means individuals could have been identified if they appeared in both sets. The company claims this information could help hospitals provide better care. For an example, if someone is elderly and does not have friends or family living nearby, information that can be attained by Facebook. The doctors can send over a nurse to check them if they have on them after a serious surgery. However, experts have raised privacy concerns about this latest plan. Consumers wouldn't have assumed that their data would be used this way, said Anish Chopra, president of a health software company called Care Journey. Just last month, the company was in talks with Stanford Medical School and American College of Cardiology about potentially sharing and analyzing their data. For the first time in history, people are sharing information about themselves online in ways that may help them determine how to improve their health, according to a quote provided by Facebook on behalf of Kathleen Gates, interim CEO of the American College of Cardiology. She said the partnership was to look further scientific research on ways social media can aid in prevention and treatment of heart disease. The company assures the project, which now has been suspended, would have been only used for medical research. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe any of that at all.
No.
Let's see here. Let me see. This is a pretty long article.
Yes.
But basically, let me go back to the bullet points, because Daily Mail has some bullet points at the top of what the article was about. Basically, the project would aim to build profiles that combine users' medical and Facebook data. This would help hospitals to work out which patients might need special care. The project was led by Stanford College's Freddie Abnushi. The proposal has been put on pause following the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Although the data would obscure identifiable information, they could have been identified by combining data sets. So basically, if you combine Facebook and the medical data, you'll be able to match that person to the T. I'll put
No.
the link in the description below, and you guys can read it. It's a pretty lengthy article, but yeah, so basically they wanted to do that was to help hospitals so they can treat people with special care. And I'm like, I mean, shouldn't the hospitals already have that information? Shouldn't the doctor's office already have that information so they know which patient needs special care and not? They don't need Facebook coming in and stealing the information, because, you know, every time you go to your doctor, they make you sign this form about, you know, who would you have your information, your medical information shared with, and you can, you know, have it shared with a family doctor, have it shared with a family member. Nowhere it says that you can have it shared with Facebook, and I don't want my medical information shared with Facebook. I don't want people having my medical information, even though I don't trust the hospitals with it, because there's been multiple instances of hospitals getting hacked after hack after hack of people's information. You know, still, again, your private life isn't private anymore.
Henry, do you want to go first?
No, I'll let you go.
I don't have any problem with my doctor having my information, and if I take a trip to Florida and I get sick or something happens, the hospital or the doctor I go to in Florida can easily, via email or whatever, get in touch with my doctor and find and see my record.
Yeah.
If they need to. I don't have a problem with that. But what in the heck is Facebook? My doctor's not going to go on Facebook to see my medical. What? How stupid. Now,
Yeah.
I agree. If Facebook wants to put up non-smoking ads or ads about a new diabetes medicine or something, they could do that. And if you want to read it, you can read it. And if you don't, you don't. But criminy, what in the hell does Facebook have to do? And if I don't know, if I post 3 or 4 things in 6 months about smoking that I smoke, or whatever, and Facebook takes note of that, and they want to put ads, if they want to add posts to my page about how to quit smoking, okay, do that, whether I quit or not. But they don't need. What in the hell is Zuckerberg?
Well, he's supposed to go and testify before Congress, I think, sometime next week. I think either the 10th or 11th, maybe later in the month. But yeah, I'll definitely be watching that. I am curious to see what he has to say.
Well, yes, I am too. And I saw today, I guess tonight on the news, where he was speaking, and what he said was um very true in one sense. He said, when you create something that is completely and totally new to the entire world, has never been experienced before, which Facebook, is. He says you're going to get some things right and you're going to get some things wrong, and you have to adjust as you go to fix what's wrong and keep what's right or whatever. And I do agree with that because Facebook is the biggest, really, other than the bless you.
Thank you.
Other than the the first home computers and the internet, Facebook is the biggest thing socially and technology, blah, blah. And I agree with that statement. You don't get everything right to start with, but I also believe that Zuckerberg is a big damn liberal. He's got more money than he's got sense, which I don't mean, he's obviously very intelligent. He created Facebook, but I think he does have an ego and he feels like he is the king of the world now. And he's liberal and he wants to fast forward his agenda.
Well, all these social media, a lot of these, I was going to say, a lot of these social media platforms are run by leftists. And the ones like Twitter and Facebook and all that, they're not just giving away your information, they're selling it. They are selling information to, it's not like they're getting something. It's not like they're not getting something for your information. Yeah, so.
Yeah. $7 billion a year is just not quite enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta be careful what you put on your Facebook. You gotta be careful what you put on your Twitter. YouTube is run by leftists.
Yep.
That's something you gotta be careful about because they generally censor conservative thought.
Yep.
Speaking of YouTube, of course, there was that unfortunate shooting earlier this week.
Yeah. And they try to again shoot. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to that because it was a big topic. So I think like 2, 3, maybe 4 people were injured, and the shooter killed herself. Spoiler alert: it's a woman this time, not a white male, but like the left always like to elevate. She was a woman. Seems like she had radical leftist views. She was a member of PETA, and the mainstream media was trying to spin this and make it like the NRA. It's the NRA's fault, which is highly impossible in this point.
AK-47, what, she have a pistol?
They tried to claim that it must have been a right winger. They didn't even hear the full story.
Yeah, they did. They just denied it.
Well, no, I'm talking about the leftists like on Twitter and all that. They didn't hear the full story. They thought, oh, it must be a Trump supporter, it must be a right winger. had to be a white Trump supporter, and then this completely spoils their narrative. So
Yeah.
there's an Iranian leftist who is very much a big time radical animal activist, as it
Yeah.
were.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was like I said, she was a member of PETA, and
What was she mad at YouTube about?
They were censoring her views.
Oh yeah, they were
Yeah.
censoring her PETA views.
Or making it where, like, young age people couldn't get on it and stuff, and lowering her views and ratings so they wouldn't have to pay her for people viewing her stuff.
Okay, my brother was chiming in on why she was mad at YouTube because she said they were censoring her.
Trying to make like a age limit on how old you could be to watch her stuff and stuff. I mean, that's what the TV said.
Okay, yeah, he said that's what the TV said.
yeah, that's what the mainstream media said too. It was about because of her censoring the censorship at YouTube. And here's the thing: they said that her father actually contacted police and let them know that she has it out for YouTube and that she might do something erratic. And the police didn't do anything.
I saw. Yes, I heard that too, but he didn't mention anything about her having a firearm. So
no, but he did warn him though that when she left that he was afraid because she hated YouTube so much that she might do something extreme to YouTube. He warned the cops. He let them know. The cops didn't do nothing, just like in Parkland. FBI was warned 20,000 times. Local police was warned 20,000 times. They didn't do nothing. They stand it down. And
see, or sleeping in a car 2 days later, and she was 30 minutes away from the YouTube station.
yeah.
I mean,
well, I don't know, but I'm sorry for the families affected, and I'm sorry for her and her family. But what to do? There's nothing to do.
And again, it seems like it was like I think they let it happen so they can further push their gun narrative. That's what I'm thinking. Because I mean, if the police was warned like that, they should have done something. They didn't do anything. They let it happen, and I blame the cops for it to let happen because they didn't follow up on the report like they supposed to. I mean, let's just say if someone threatened, to kill the president, former President Obama, they would be after them immediately, no questions asked.
Yeah.
And yet the Parkland and YouTube, they were warned. FBI didn't do anything. Local police didn't do anything. They let it happen. Again, I think this is all the whole control the gun narrative. And speaking of the gun narrative, there was a post today that in an Illinois town bypasses the Constitution. U.S. citizens given 60 days to turn in guns or become criminals. Basically, they said you have 60 days to give up every single gun. That's an AR-15 or an assault rifle or an assault weapon, or else you're going to be fined $1,000 a day. Now, this right here is going to get even worse if the Republicans doesn't take control of the House. The whole plan is to, tell the people to give up their guns voluntarily, or else we're going to come knocking on your door. We're going to beat down the door, and we're going to take them and gun confiscate them ourselves. That's the whole plan. They want the guns. It doesn't matter if it's a pistol, a revolver, or an AR-15 or an AK, whatever. They want every single gun. They want the guns to control the people. They know once they get the guns, they can control you, they can control me, they control everyone else.
That is just absolute socialism.
All over.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is socialism, communism, Marxism. What this is.
Yep.
Yeah.
If they tried that here in Mississippi, our governor would be like, "Yeah, I don't think so." Our governor would be like, I don't think so. Yeah. No, that ain't happening.
North Carolina, too. Now, we've got a decent amount of liberals in North Carolina, and one of the reasons is we have so many colleges in North Carolina. We've got North Carolina State University. We've got the Duke Blue Devils. We got UNC Carolina Tar Heels. And there's got 3 or 4 more that are Appalachian State. We have a number of big colleges. And of course, they're liberalizing them. In fact, one of my good friends a little while back, a boy I grew up with, went to school with, and his daddy was a preacher, and he's grown up to be a fine man. And he's got a daughter that's about 23 or 4 now. She went to East Carolina University in Greenville here. And she totally turned against religion, God, morals, values. She's not going out and committing crimes or anything, but she got up with some boy, and she has just basically disowned her daddy. She's just gone liberal crazy.
Yeah.
And this is right here in my town, up my little bitty town and up the road. And he just doesn't know, he's at a loss. He doesn't know
Well, it's the
what.
colleges. They're indoctrinating the kids. They're brainwashing the students. They're brainwashing, people thinking that socialism is cool, communism is great. And, that what needs to happen is, college reform. Forget gun reform and gun control. There needs to be college control and college reform, where the federal, the feds, pull funding from these colleges that's brainwashing the youth into thinking that all this is cool and awesome, and to down America and its values. They need to get funding pulled immediately. But let me read this article. Go ahead.
Trump's still only been in office like 4 months.
It's been longer than that.
No, over a year now.
It's a year.
Oh my God, am I that far behind?
Yeah, a year this January. It seems longer though.
Y'all know I turned 52 yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. Damn, it has been a year. It was 16 he got elected, then 17. Now it's 18. Okay, so he's been in office a little more than a year.
Yep. But the years are flying by fast.
And they get faster as you get older, believe me. Still, he has done a lot in a year. And give him time to do more when you're fighting the damn Democrats at every turn. And when you wake up every day, and I've thought about this before, when you're the president of the United States, every morning when you wake up, there are like 3,000 big problems that need to be solved. And you can't do it all at once.
The whole thing is the president is a fall guy. He's a face to blame it on. That's the whole thing. He is controlled just like everybody else.
And if I wake up every day with 25 or 30 big worries on me, and I can't hardly function.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about what the president faces every day. And it was easier for Obama because he just he had the Muslim backing, he had the liberal backing, and nobody would dare say a word because he was the first black president. And oh my God, you'd be racist if you say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump is really trying to do the best he can.
He needs to stay off social media and this shit with China. He needs to chill out.
And let's just all pray, and I do most every night, as we say when we end the show, God bless America, God bless Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I pray that
You just came in. You want to go back out, crazy cat?
Let's see. So let me read this article real quick about the whole Illinois gun confiscation. It's very short. Yeah. So residents of a town in Illinois was just handed down a unconstitutional decree from their local government. So their local government is doing this. It's not the state government, not the federal government. Now they have 60 days to give up their guns or be fined $1,000 per day. As the state promises gun rights activists, they're not coming for the guns. Behind the scenes, they are pleading it to happen. And now the federal gun grab is occurring. Residents in Deerfield, Illinois, have 60 days to surrender their assault weapons or face fines up to $1,000 per day per gun. The gun ban ordinance was passed last week, April 2nd, with residents left with a few choices on how to dispose of their valuable assault weapons. Upon careful reading of the ordinance, residents would be left with revolvers, 22 caliber pickling rifles, and a double-barrel shotgun to defend their homes and families from criminals who could care less about the law. Fines for not disposing of the weapons range from $250 to $1,000 per day per gun for those who choose not to comply with the city's ordinance. While a fine may seem reasonable to some, the TFTP has reported on multiple occasions failure to pay fines always results in police action. It is not far-fetched to predict a major turmoil and arrests in the event of non-compliance. One example of the so-called assault weapon is the Ruger 1022, which can accept magazines hold more than 10 rounds. Even though the 1022 is not listed on the list of guns that the village wants to see banned, the guns cannot legally be processed in the village. Residents have been instructed to either sell their guns, transfer the ownership to someone who lives outside the village, surrender the guns to Deerfield sheriffs, or begin to pay the fines. Deerfield mentioned a number of cities of mass shootings that took place, including Sutherland Springs, Texas, where 26 people were killed in the First Baptist Church. This shooting was actually stopped by the man who used the very same gun Deerfield voted to ban. Not to mention was made that the fact of the ordinance. Also included in the gun ban were semi-automatic pistols, which can accept higher than 10-round magazines. That's virtually all full-size semi-automatic pistols. Even though the village trustees ignored the pleas of residents to leave their guns alone and passed the ordinance anyway, many residents were encouraged to ignore the gun ban and engage in civil disobedience. Joe Siegel, a resident of Lincolnwood, warned that the village residents that the government all across the world would have moved. Joe Siegel, a resident of Lincolnwood, warned that the village residents that governments all across the world have moved to confiscate guns, then turn around and ran roughshod over people. He said, "There's an ancient and honor American tradition called disobeying an unjust law. I have urged people to listen to their conscience, and if so, do not obey this law." Deerfield Mayor Harriet Rosenthal implied that students from the local high school helped sway her decision to bring about the ordinance. "Enough is enough," Rosenthal said, adding, "Those students are so articulate, just like our students. There is no place here for assault weapons," she said. This statement mirrors the knee-jerk reaction to ban guns following a nationwide public outcry of students who supposedly feared for their own lives following the recent mass shootings in Florida. Opponents of the gun grab vowed to fight action in court, while others praised that the trustees' decision to ban semi-automatic rifles, pistols, and shotguns. Arella Kashik, a Deerfield High School senior, says she wants more action to be taken on both local and a national level. Again, the whole give them an inch, take a mile. She said, "This is our fight. This is our generation's fight. We're going to keep fighting, and this is part of it. Change happens gradually, step by step. The fight does not end at the borders of our village," Kashik said. Predictably, law enforcement and retired law enforcement members of the community are exempt from the ban. Currently in the U.S., law enforcement kills around 1,200 citizens per year. Ironically, the number is actually 4 times higher than those who die from the rifles. As TFTP has reported, cops killed 450% more people than they have died over the past 40 years of mass shootings. And I'll post the link in the description below where you can read the ordinance yourself. And this whole thing is just absolutely unconstitutional. That's why the Second Amendment was created, to fight governments like that, to fight tyranny like that. And, you know, if I was a resident of Deerfield, I would not pay the fine. I would not give up my gun. I would get a lawyer, and I would sue the government to the extreme.
Yep.
And I think, from what I understand, is that the NRA, along with another pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment organization, is suing Deerfield, Illinois, because of that ordinance. And they have a strong case here. This is very unconstitutional. And I look to see this thing not holding up in court. I see this thing being tossed out because it is unconstitutional.
I agree.
And my thing is, if they want these people's pistols and rifles, then they file for a permit to have the pistols. So that state gave them a permit to have that. How can you take it from them? I mean,
could you hear that, Shane?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I'm not sure how they can still take it from them, even though they still have a permit or anything. From what I understand, and they didn't mention anything in the article, maybe it's in the ordinance itself, but it apparently it doesn't matter if you have a permit or not. They're going to take the gun anyway.
well, they're going to do what they want to do anyway, but still.
That's my brother sitting over here talking.
That's fine. He can join in if he wants to.
Yeah.
Yes, and that, and
you have a gun legally, you own it, it's registered in your name, and you have a permit for that gun. If you shoot somebody with that gun, they can track it back to you. They can trace that gun. The criminals are the ones that are out here shooting people with illegal weapons that aren't registered in their names. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying all of them, but okay, give them your AR-15. So a criminal on the street got an AR-15 and you can't stop them. Criminals ain't give their guns up. The law-abiding citizens are, and the law-abiding citizens are going to be the one that suffers for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just, and that's the whole part of the plan, is that, you know, they're guilt tripping these law-abiding citizens that has guns into turning in their guns, which, don't fall into it. Don't fall into this. Don't fall into it's a trap. It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a freaking trap, people. Don't fall into this. Do not give up your gun. Stick to it.
I agree.
It's your constitutional right to have a gun.
Yeah, and what this local government is doing is unconstitutional.
Absolutely.
They're trying to see if they can get away with it in one place to see if they can't spread it around.
Yeah.
It is. They're trying to see if they can get however many people they can get to do it.
Yeah.
And see how much uproar they get in the middle of it. That's all it is. They're just trying it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's all right. They can try it all they want.
Yeah, they can try all they want.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And see, that's the bad thing. Fighting citizens and the criminals. And that's the bad thing. Is they make us make the choice to obey the law or not obey the law. And that's ridiculous when we had a constitutional right to own a firearm and have military grade weapons. What our military grade has, we should have. And they want to go against it. And I'm not saying everybody should run around with a 50 caliber, you know, none of this mess. You don't really need that. If you got to protect your house with a 50 caliber machine gun, then you got too many enemies and you need to. I mean, it's fact. I mean, just because you got an AR-15 doesn't mean nothing. You can shoot somebody with any kind of gun. You can make a bomb. If you want to kill somebody, you're going to kill somebody. It does. It's just like the person in New York running over the sidewalk, running over pedestrians. How many people did he kill? And all he did is hold the gas down. You going to ban cars? I mean, what's the difference? I mean,
well, they're in the process of doing that. That's why they want this whole automatic car thing in, so they can control people driving and everything.
They can GPS track you. They know where you're at. They know where you're going and everything else. I mean, it's just like cell phones. All it is a tracking device.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Facebook, they know everything that you're doing, everything that you're saying.
Yep. Like I said, your private life isn't private anymore.
Nope. Not if you're on a phone or on the internet, it's not.
Yep.
So, I mean, people even think house phones are safe. You think they can't hear what you're saying? If I guarantee you, you say one word out of the way, it gets sent to a transfer station and they pick your call up and listen to it. If you say anything that picks up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they listen to, you know, landlines, cell phones. They listen to everything, you know, and plus they can hack your webcams. They can hack anything.
Anything, even if you got like, I mean, Xboxes with the video cameras on and everything, you think they can't turn that on if you're hooked to the internet?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, get me into some conspiracy.
No, this is what the whole show's about, man.
Oh, yeah.
I asked him, did he want to come over here and sit with me and get on the show?
Business, but
he just came out to smoke a cigarette.
That's great. I mean, we need more interaction.
He's my brother, though, ain't he? He tells you what he thinks.
Yep.
Just like I do. Every Saturday morning, I wake up and I think, oh my God, what did I say? And like we've said before, Shane, if you have any complaints about anything Lale said, please refer them to Shane.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
that's okay.
You keep inviting me back, and I enjoy it, and I enjoy you and Henry. So
that's the whole point. That's the whole point, is to, you know, educate people and have fun at the same time.
Exactly.
Let's see here. I think that's pretty much it that happened. Trump actually was in my neck of the woods this past week in West Virginia, White Sulphur Springs, and he kind of went off script, which fan-freaking-tastic. Instead of talking about taxes, he talked about illegal immigration. Fantastic. I love when he goes off script. It's great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have no issue with him doing that at all.
Yeah.
He wants to go off script, let him go off script.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean,
go ahead.
He's good. See, unlike Obama, he's good at going off script. He's good at you know, speaking off the cuff.
I agree.
Obama always needed a freaking teleprompter.
Because he was a puppet. He was saying what he knew exactly everybody wanted to hear him say. That's why everybody loved him, because he played to it. And just because he said it don't mean it happened either. That's the whole thing. They try to point out, oh, Trump ain't building the wall, and oh, we got to pay for the wall and all this mess. I mean, it doesn't matter if we have a wall or not. I mean, it's a symbolic thing, but they tunneled, I mean, everywhere. They come in wherever they want to come in. It doesn't stop at, okay, we got a wall and we're going to stop everybody from coming in.
It will help a lot, though.
Behind it. It's the base behind it, having them laws stricter, having more border control, you know, stuff like that. And I mean, I agree with a lot of it, but I mean, the wall ain't going to stop everything. So, I mean, they keep, you know, a lot of people keep saying, he said he was going to build a wall and he ain't built it. That's not going to stop them 100%.
They're starting to build it now.
Yeah, I know they're starting to build it, but then he was talking about Mexico was going to pay for it and all this stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter who pays for it as long as we get it. It doesn't matter. I mean, but like I said, and it's not going to stop them from coming in unless we really crack down on Mexico and crack down on them coming in and make it stricter laws for if they get caught here. It's not just smack you on the wrist and send you back across the line. You know, I mean, it's,
the catch and release policy.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. They'll be right back over here in 2 weeks. I mean,
absolutely.
Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to bring up. Mark Dice talked about this. This Jim Acosta guy, or as I call him, Jim Acosta, the guy from CNN.
Oh,
he was reporting from the White House, and apparently he got his feed cut. It was accidental. It happens all the time on CNN. And when they brought him back, he said, "Well, I don't want to read too much into it." Yeah, you're reading into it. You're trying to you're trying to think that you got cut off.
It's like Trump has control of the CNN feed now for some weird reason.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of Jim Acosta, he was actually Trump did the whole Easter egg thing, the whole Easter celebration, and Jim Acosta was screaming questions at Trump while he was coloring with the kids about Stormy Daniels and unrelated nonsense. And I think they need to pull CNN's credentials. It's pull. CNN is just
credentials?
Exactly.
They have no credentials. I mean, they're fake news, and then they know they're fake news.
Hey.
Oh, but they don't like that term. They don't like to be called fake news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't like that at all.
They are certain that they are right. Everybody else is wrong.
That's what they want you to think.
And they are going to keep putting out their liberal agenda.
If any news station was actually telling the truth, they wouldn't be a news station anymore.
Mm-hmm. Hey, do y'all remember? I think it was during the Casey Anthony trial that CNN had what's that lawyer reporter with the short blonde hair?
Nancy Grace.
I can't stand her. I cannot stand her.
I like Nancy Grace. She's great.
They had Nancy Grace, and then they had another one of their reporters in a separate location, and they were going back and forth. Nancy Grace would. Now we're going over to Mary or whatever her name was, and it would go to the other one. And remember, somebody saw and figured out a white van drove down the street behind Nancy Grace, and she went to Mary whoever or whatever was the other correspondent. And then the white van went behind her. They were in the same
white van
parking lot. And they were in
I saw something about that
lot and going back and forth like they were in different locations.
Reporting.
Yeah,
I saw that.
What a crock of crap.
Speaking of mainstream media, there was just a web video that was circulating, and it was from the Sinclair broadcasting station, and it's a very pro-Trump broadcasting station. And we see that video, and it's multiple news outlets from different locations reading off the same script. And CNN and the mainstream media was up in a uproar about that. And I'm like, aren't you guys hypocritical because you guys read off the same damn script too? Even though it's not exact, it's like the same talking points. They use the same talking points. CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, they all use the same talking points. So it's kind of hypocritical for them to be, judging because Sinclair Broadcasting is using the same script for their local stations. And the only reason they're doing it is because Sinclair is prominently pro-Trump.
And remember too the thing CNN did, where was it, London, or
Oh yeah, yeah. They staged that protest.
stage, they got all the people together and the flowers, and
Hmm.
hey, even that shooting in Florida,
Hmm.
that teenage boy came out and said they told me what to say.
Hmm.
And then the second time they told me what to say, and I said, no, I'm not going to say that. And then they didn't put
Yeah.
him on.
Yeah. I mean, they're scripted to the T. If they're not scripted, they have talking points.
You darn right.
Oh, let's see here. Let me get into some lighthearted news before we get to local news. A third of millennials aren't sure if the Earth is round.
Oh yeah, the flat Earth, the Flat Earther Society. Yeah, the Flat Earthers. Yeah.
Yes.
I've heard about those
YouGov,
guys. Yeah.
so YouGov, a British market research firm, polled 8,215 adults in the United States to find out if they ever believed the flat Earth movement. Only 66% of young millennials answered they always believed the Earth is round. Science teachers across the U.S. would be shaking their heads after learning that 9% of young adults answered that the Earth has always believed the planet was flat.
How retarded can you be? The sun would never go away if the Earth was flat.
So
Did you hear,
constant daylight or constant darkness?
did you hear what
Yeah.
Jacob said? He said if the Earth was flat, the sun would never go away. It would be constant dark or constant light.
I mean, how does that make sense?
I mean, you know, and it does. What a bunch of
How would we even? I mean, the gravity wouldn't exist.
gravity.
I mean,
Yeah,
because the Earth turns on an axis, it makes our ozone layer,
Yeah.
makes purity, and makes us have our ozone. That's what formed it to begin with, but they're retarded. I don't even want to hear that. It's just like eating Tide Pods. I ain't understanding it. I mean, it's stupid to talk about.
Speaking of that, I mean, there's a new challenge now. They're not eating Tide Pods anymore. They're snorting condoms.
now they're sucking condoms up their nose.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm 31 years old and I ain't got that's stupid childish.
Who
shit.
in the hell? Jacob said he's 31 and that's stupid and childish. I'm 52.
I mean, I'm sorry.
It never has occurred to me in my life. Why in the hell?
Selection. Let the idiots kill themselves off.
Exactly, natural selection. Absolutely.
That, you know what? That's what Ted Nugent says too.
Oh yeah.
If you ain't got nothing better with your time but to suck a condom up your nose or eat a damn Tide Pod. And my thing is, they don't even know how to wash clothes, but they can eat a Tide Pod. They don't know how to run a damn washing machine. I mean, let me see lawnmower. I mean,
here's the thing: we are putting the hands of the youth.
Yeah, and we're taking
Tide Pod eating, condom snorting freaks that wants to take our guns, wants to basically tear up the Constitution, wants to get us into, you know, socialism and communism. These are the people that's voting.
They do.
We need to raise the voting age. Raise the voting age.
My thing is, they want to fight against all these constitutional rights that we have. Ask them how much of the Constitution do they know?
Zero.
I mean, ask them anything. Ask them to name 5 of them. I bet you they don't know. I mean,
oh, speaking of that, there was a viral video going around about this Democratic senator, and he was doing a town hall, and he was talking about the Second Amendment, and some people asked the guy, "What's the Second Amendment?" They didn't even know what the Second Amendment was.
Exactly. They're trying to fight. You know, some of these people are fighting against shit they don't even know about just because they heard their friends say somebody shouldn't have a gun, and they don't even know why we have that constitutional right. I mean, I was probably 20 some years old before I even learned half of the Constitution, and that's because they didn't teach enough of it in school for me to know it. Because they don't want you to know all your rights. They don't want you to know what laws you are protected by our Constitution. They don't want you to know that. Cops pull you over, They just want you to let you, you know, search your car, search you, take you to jail for whatever they can blame on you, and get you guilty and get your money out your pocket. They don't care. Law now is nothing but a money scheme. That's all it is. Get you in jail, get you on probation, make you pay all these fines, make you pay all this money. They want somebody to say you did something. Don't matter if you did it or not. There is no law or justice anymore. It's all about money. It's all about revenue. How many people they can get with a felony, how many people they can get in jail, how many, I mean, they make money for every prisoner in jail. The state does. As soon as you come across the Virginia line to North Carolina, all you see is a big ass prison. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, they make money off of people's lives being behind a fucking concrete wall. I mean, just, and it's like,
some people deserve to be there, but there's a lot of rigmarole and crap too.
Yeah, it's a lot of just bullshit. I mean, and it's like all these people keep doing it. These, you know, repeat offenders. You know, people, you know, molesting little kids or raping people or killing and robbing and all this shit. They get 3 or 4 chances before they're locked up for life. You let them do it the second time, kill somebody, and you hang them out in the middle of Main Street, I bet you'll change a lot of people's idea about killing somebody or murdering somebody or raping somebody and everything else. And I hate to say that, but the punishment, you get 3 hots in a cot. You get to go to prison and smoke dope and whatever else you can afford to do while you're there. And a lot of people there are like programmed, and I'm not trying to, you know, discriminate against anybody, but the way they are raised and grow up in these, you know, concrete complexes and hoods and all this stuff, and they are raised to be used to being in a confined space with a bunch of people around them. And then they, you know, sell drugs, they do what they do, they rob, they go to prison, and they're used to it already. It's like home. They just can't leave. I mean, that's the only difference. And I mean, that's horrible to have part of our society being programmed to being used to that kind of living situation and pretty much accepting that's what's going to happen. And they go to prison.
There's plenty of cases about these, you know, people, as soon as they get out of jail, they don't know where to go. They don't know how to get a job. They don't do that. So they just commit a crime just to go back to prison.
They don't, because they don't know how to do anything.
It's stability. It is stability. And that is the horrible thing about it. You go to prison, you know when you're going to eat, you know when you're going to sleep, you know where your water comes from, you know where your lights come from. You ain't got to worry about shit. I mean, and that's horrible. You know, they've lost morals. And that's the worst thing is a lot of people, like I said, take that for granted. They have no morals. They don't have, okay, I'm going to get up every day at 6 o'clock. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to make my money. I'm going to pay my bills. And the bad thing is that's sheep. We're all sheep. We're all working for that machine. And that's the horrible thing. I would rather work to live than work to make somebody else rich and barely live. And that they don't want you to be self-dependent. You have to be dependent on that dollar. Like people think we ain't slaves. We're slaves to money. You have to have money to pay bills. You have to have money to do everything. Even your birth certificate, the government makes money off of. So, I mean, you're born a slave to the United States of America. I mean, it's just, I don't know. This world is going to hell in a handbasket. I'd rather have 10 acres of land, my own damn garden, some pigs and some stuff, and be self-sufficient. But no, they don't want us to live like that. We have to depend on lights. We have to depend on water. We have to depend on them treating our water and making our lights and, you know, all this stuff. And people, it's material. It's all material. And people, they've got us, or a lot, not me, I can depend on myself. But anyway, a lot of people nowadays, if you cut the lights off, shut the water off, they're going to die. They're all going to die. They would not know what to do. They could not survive without it.
No, I could.
They have, I know, I'm not saying us, we're older, you know what I'm saying? And well, I'm not that old, but I'm saying I was raised to be able to take care of myself.
Me
you know,
too.
A lot of these kids cut the power off, they can't charge a cell phone, they're going to sit in the corner and die. I mean, and it's ridiculous. They don't know how to plant vegetables. They don't know how to slaughter animals. They don't know how to make their own food, shoot their own food, catch their own food. They can't do that. And the government wants us like that. They don't want us to be able to take care of ourselves. They don't. And it's like if you have cows and all this stuff, you have to have permits, regulation. You can only have so many animals. You can only have this and have that. You know what I'm saying? It's regulating us not to be able to take care of ourselves.
Hell, you can't even catch your own rainwater anymore.
You can't even go fishing in that creek without a damn license, without paying to go out there and catch a fish to feed your family. You can't shoot a deer without having to pay to feed your family. You know what I'm saying? It's the whole thing. I mean, it's not the sweat off your back anymore. It's how much money you could pay out to afford to be able to go do that. There's nothing in this world free. Everything is money, and money is nothing but a piece of paper. It ain't worth shit. It's worth nothing. I mean, it's just, oh well. We're going to overpopulate and kill the world anyway, so, I mean, we got 50 years maybe. I mean, so. I hate it. I hate it.
Night, Jacob.
I ain't going to sleep yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was fun.
That was my brother Jacob. He might be back, might not.
Before we go to local news real quick, there's something I gotta bring up. So this happened last week, but I forgot to bring it up. The Pope actually came out and they said that there was no hell. The Vatican didn't actually deny that he said it. They just kind of brush it off. Now there's some rumors and reports going around that they're looking to basically impeach the Pope because the Pope has gone completely left to the extreme. I mean, this Pope, this is not a Pope. This is he's like the freaking Antichrist. And
I agree with that.
He's no Pope John Paul II, I can tell you that.
No, now I'm not gonna say whether I believe there's an actual hell or not, because I'm a Christian. I believe Jesus is my Savior, but I'm not Catholic, and I have never, the Catholic, believe the Pope is infallible.
You know how many people got killed by the Catholic religion?
And I don't think anyone on earth is infallible since Jesus. But this Pope has really, been left. And I don't care if you're trying to, and I don't mean this quite literally, but if you're trying to get votes, not that the Pope, but you know what I mean. When you're telling people what they want to hear for popularity or whatever, I don't know if that is his problem or what his oh, here he is.
All right, guys, I gotta go, but I'll see y'all next Friday.
All right, see you next Friday, Henry. See you tomorrow night. Actually, me and Henry is going to do The Walking Dead, the webcasting dead, to discuss the latest episode of The Walking Dead that happened last week. But go ahead, Lil.
I have always had a problem with the fact that the Pope was infallible, and I think that in most instances the Pope tries his very best to be
the Pope and
a good Christian, Catholic Pope, whatever. But this Pope has just not been. He is a leftist.
At least I ain't the only guy with a beard and a mustache.
He reminds me of James.
He does. A little bit, yeah.
Yep.
I've told you that before, Shane. You remind me of
did. Oh, this is just breaking right now. President Trump signs a memo ending catch and release.
Ending catch and release? So it's not catch and release anymore. They go to prison and then our tax dollars has to pay to take care of them? Or it
just says it's ending catch and release. So maybe they just ship them back to Mexico.
We've been shipping them back to Mexico and they keep coming back.
Yeah, they do.
Maybe we should ship them to Canada. Maybe it's harder to get over here or something. I mean, there's a wall there, but hey, maybe they have to walk through the woods a little longer.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that cold weather get to them.
Well, they say Canada. Canada said they're welcoming immigrants. So yeah, let's ship them to Canada.
There you go. Hey, that opened up a lot of jobs. See, that's the bad thing.
Absolutely.
I'm in construction work. Okay, I've had couple instances where me and a couple of my, a couple of guys that work with me, we're getting paid $12, $13, $14, $15 an hour to do what we do. And then we get fired, and the guy we work for hired 4, 5, 6 Mexicans making $9, $10 an hour, and on the same job we were getting paid. But see, the thing is, they can live here cheaper than we can. They can get their kids Medicaid, they can get food stamps, they can get Section 8, they can get everything. As long as they keep their women popping out youngins, and them youngins are legal, it doesn't matter. And Americans can't get that help. You let me go up there and tell them I need Medicaid or something, and see how that goes out. Yeah, and I have 4 kids. I mean, that's the whole thing. They have better benefits than we do, and they wonder why we're pissed off. I don't care if a man wants to come here and work, that's one thing. But when I'm struggling to make ends meet, and he can come here and do my job and make less than I do and survive, and what it takes for me to live, he can live on, because they got 6 people living in one damn house getting food stamps and every damn thing else. And everybody's like, oh, they don't pay taxes. They don't get no taxes back. Half the time they're getting paid under the damn table to begin with. And they send half what they make back to Mexico. So that's our money going out of the United States going to Mexico.
Yeah, and like you said, they send it to Mexico so they can bring their family here.
Oh, exactly. I mean, and like one of my aunts was dating a Mexican. He was here illegally. He was sending his money back to Mexico. I seen him do it, and he was an alright guy. He was fine, but on a level, you know what I'm saying, of it being right or wrong, I wasn't cool with it, and it pissed her off because I say it right in front of him. I mean, I don't care, but it's just the fact when you come here and you take my job, and you could do my job cheaper because you can get more benefits from my government that's here to take care of me and my family if we need it, and you can get it and we can't. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. You can carry your ass, but anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think we covered all the main aspects, all the main important news that happened this week. Let's go ahead and end this. Let me get to my local news real quick, and I'll let you guys head on out. My local news is Bluefield Police Department is raising money for new canines. The Bluefield Police Department is having a drive to raise money for the new canines. The department just recently added 4 new canines to the team. The dogs usually work for 6 to 10 years, the department told 59 News. Now it's going to take roughly $25,000 to keep 4 dogs in top shape and well taken care of for a period of time. According to Sergeant Copenhaver, the canines have helped the department enormously. We've been able to, no question, reduce the amount of narcotics on the street. Within the first to 6 months of the program, we've had 2 handlers, 2 dogs within the 6 to 8 months, and we're able to get over $100,000 worth of narcotics off of the street, Sergeant Brian Copenhagen said. Donations can be sent to the Bluefield Police Department if they said that anything helps. Yeah, so I think that's great.
That's cool. Yeah, dogs are good for that. I know it's expensive to get them trained, but
I think they get enough damn money out of us to begin with. But anyway,
but if
they can't afford that, they need to quit paying judges.
No, but I think if it's getting drugs off the street,
that's good.
And people put in jail, I think that's good. I think all types of service dogs are wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with law enforcement, but I don't agree in some of the laws.
Well,
and how they enforce them.
Okay, well, my local news is just going to be about Melissa George again. Love her books. And Shane, did I tell you I might start doing audio books?
Yeah, you mentioned that. Was you able to figure everything out?
Well, oh yeah, that's right, because I asked you about it. She said she was going to talk to Amazon because she sells her books on Amazon, and she wants to put the audio books there too. She was going to ask them what they thought was the best way. So we're still working on that. So I haven't actually read a whole book yet.
She needs to.
But I'm no. Well, I've read the books, but I haven't read them on audio
Yeah.
because I proofread for her. So I've read all her books, and anyway, and they are
Nice meeting you, dude.
Hey, have a good one.
Anyway, but she is just getting started, like I said, with her chemo, and she's been busy with that, so we haven't gotten together and figured out the best way or the best place for me to record. But please, anybody listening, please donate
250,000
to her fund.
JacobandLeo.com.
They're not like a destitute poor family. They make a decent living, but
Yeah, but anything that can help her.
But this is overwhelming. You know, the bills are already coming in, and I put a post up for my birthday. Please help, and we can always reshare that GoFundMe.
Yeah, I'll
And
post that in the description below and post it on the Facebook pages too.
cool, thank you so much. And so that's basically that's going to be my local news.
All right.
Well, it was a good show, I think.
Yep.
Got Jacob
Absolutely.
on it and his opinions.
I mean, that's great. It's great. I mean, add more people. You know, that's what the whole show is about. You know, having actual Americans voice their opinions and not what the mainstream media wants you to hear.
Exactly.
Not all of us are sheep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well,
All right, let me just tomorrow night, me and Henry is going to do the webcasting dead. We're going to discuss episode 14. Still got to mean something. Great episode, so check in for that. It's going to be on my other channel. Now, if you follow the Bigfoot stuff that I do, I made an announcement on the Looking for Bigfoot page that Real or Not Real is coming back this summer.
I didn't see that. Can I be on those shows?
Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm shooting for either May or June.
I love that. And I like the comical ones too on the B-rated movies.
Oh yeah, that's coming back this fall.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
so it's not Squarch Theater.
Let me know on the Real or Not Real.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. I'll keep you posted. It's probably going to be May or June, because I want to do the webcasting dead, and that's going to be that's going to end in 2 weeks. The 5th on the 20th. So yeah, it's probably going to be May. So I'll shoot for not May 20th, not April 20th, but April 21st. So I'm going to shoot probably for the middle of May. So Saturday, that's Saturday, the 19th of May. I think that'd be good. So May 19th. May 19th is the official date, and I'll post it on Facebook to let people know.
Cool. Yes, and if you get any good videos, send them to me ahead of time so I can look at them.
All right, I will. Yeah, I'll post the videos that we'll be taking a look at on the Facebook page, the Looking for Bigfoot Facebook page. So yeah,
I'll keep an eye out there then.
Yep. Yeah, and I'll send it to you. You're special. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you on Facebook. But yeah, all right. So let's go ahead and end this tomorrow night as me and Henry and hopefully Alan Walking Dead. Next Friday is going to be another Not Mainstream, and then the end of this month, April 25th, me and Henry is going to discuss 2 episodes of the X-Files, Monday and Hollywood AD. So keep a watch out for that. We'll be here next week for another edition of Not Mainstream. at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 Pacific, 6 Central, 5 whatever, 4 whatever. Anyway, good night, everybody. God bless America, and God bless President Donald Trump.